156 years of excellence in higher education and proudly serving mankind through nationally ranked programs in the sciences, humanities, music, law, education, business, engineering, nursing, and medicine, Baylor University...
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Warning. 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 G12 is in the motherfucking building.
Haha. What's up, G12 world? Let's get it. Coming straight out of G12, NCAA coming at you. Stick skills have you frozen like a statue. Group of 12 streamers, we on that Twitch. Any other league just became our bitch. We got Fantasy, Mac Dub, and Baker. King Yofi, E-Migs, man, we some playmakers. Then there's Rhombus, Ravens fan, and Chuck. Then Cuck and take us, good luck. Sharpshooter and gridiron greats. Hardcore and D's, don't you underestimate. We got skill, we above the rest. Check out production, we passed the test. Every game produced with live commentary. A few of these guys on the sticks is just scary. College football, Twitch at its finest. Levels to the shit, and we on the highest.
And welcome everybody to Tuesday Taco Tuesday, something like that. It's a new thing we're trying here at the G12. I gotta mute myself on this other thing. Coming to you live. It's 9:31 on the East Coast, and John Robb and I. This is Pirate Ike. We're getting ready to call a game as soon as Coach Hardcore is ready. We're going to have the Oklahoma Sooners versus the Baylor Bears. Both teams come into the game ranked. Both teams have looked good so far this season. John, what are your thoughts on this? Welcome to the broadcast, by the way.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks, Pirate. Yeah, I think the ranking for Baylor's maybe a little bit. We kind of looked at their schedule before the game, and they haven't really played anybody. So top 25. How good are they? We saw them play Chuck. It was a close game. I expect a blowout here. Hopefully we get a good game, quite honestly. We've been kind of begging for that, for Hardcore to show that he's like human with this Oklahoma team. I would like to see that personally, but I don't know that we will.
Absolutely. I would love for the computer to pitch one of those games that we've seen we've seen some of those, can't complete a pass, just the defense all of a sudden becomes insane and the quarterback has all kinds of time, and the computer absolutely has it in its bag of tricks to make this a tough game for Hardcore. Will we see that today? I don't know. I think that's the only chance that Baylor has to win is if to use kind of the famous phrase that if Hardcore gets NCAA'd, right, exactly. That's really the only chance that Baylor has. So, going back to that Chuck game, Chuck was able to pull that out at the end. It was really close all the way through. Baylor did not show me anything impressive. I didn't feel like Chuck looked that great that game, but he was still able to pull it out. Baylor hopefully will be the kind of team that plays up to their competition and just stays close no matter who they're playing against. If this thing can get to halftime without us falling asleep, that's really my goal for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable, right? I mean, we've seen it over and over again. I feel like every time it wasn't the case last week. What was really impressive, I think, last week with Oklahoma's game and Hardcore's game is he started off fast. It was a blowout really early. He just completely took control of the game. Very first possession, pick, scored a touchdown, and just like that, the game was basically over. When we've usually seen a little bit of a slow start, looks like the computer's going to give him a little bit of a game, and then in a blink of an eye, it's 35-point game, 40-point game. By the time we get to the third quarter, he's put up 28, 35 unanswered points.
Absolutely.
So I would like to see that. I don't know that this is going to be that week. I think if we look ahead at his schedule, we've kind of talked about that. Once he got past the user games, he was really back and loaded with his schedule. He's got what do we talk about? He's got
still got Iowa State.
Iowa State at the very last game of the year, right? And there's some other games in there.
We got Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State's the last game probably, and then Iowa State.
Yeah, it is. So it's Iowa State, then Kansas State, then after this one. So 3 of his last 4 opponents are ranked. So, I think we see the best game probably out of Oklahoma State, so that might be the biggest struggle that we see. We know he doesn't have a conference championship game in the season of NCAA. If this were 2020, obviously that would be a different story, but doesn't really have to worry about that. So what's really interesting as we were looking at the stats for this game, and I don't know what your kind of thoughts about this are, but Baylor's defense is actually looking pretty good, and their pass defense is second in the country in the game. Now, obviously, that's mostly against the computer, but we know Chuckleberry likes to throw a lot. They did really well against the pass. The problem is Oklahoma's stacked both is so balanced he can run or throw the ball. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Baylor was the number one defense in the Big 12 last year. They lost 9 starters off that defense. They got a new head coach who's more of a defensive-minded guy, so they certainly reloaded versus rebuilding on defense. It sounds like this roster is still pretty loaded on defense. As you said, they're one of the top teams in the country in pass defense. I think back to kind of the general hardcore comment, I think the biggest opponent he has left on the rest of his schedule is just keeping his players healthy. Load management. Does he chase the Heisman? He's got 2 guys in the top 5 of the Heisman. Does he finally just settle into one? Does he start trying to pull guys at halftime just to make sure he is healthy towards the stretch of the season? He's given us no indication that he's going to do that. He's kind of pedal to the metal. He's made lots of comments about how he only gets to play with this team once a week and he wants to take advantage of it. It's like having a Ferrari that you only get to drive around the block versus taking it out on the open road. He wants to take it out and show us what it can do every single week. And I've been there. I see that. I mean, I'm the kind of guy in my offline dynasties, especially, even if I'm up 70 points in the fourth quarter, I'm still pouring it on. I think there's a lot more on the line here. He can't afford, in my opinion, an injury to Brooks. He can't afford an injury to Rattler. Maybe he feels otherwise. Maybe he feels like even his backups are good enough to win in this league. He's probably not wrong. But I am one. I hope that when we get to the end, if Hardcore is there, he's there with his best team possible. I don't want it to be a situation where he's limping in there with a second quarterback or a second running back. I want him to have his full arsenal at his disposal, and I'd hate to see him, push it too much in one of these games for no good reason and end up short a player.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. His biggest opponent is himself. I know we've said that before. And we know that he's maybe had a long day, all these kind of different factors that we've heard him talk about. He's on Discord and stuff. He's had a long day. He's coming right off work. He really hasn't had a chance to maybe take a shower even. I don't.
And he's live now, so it looks like we're cutting over to his game as things start up. It is worth mentioning. Hardcore. This game was supposed to start at 8:30. I'll stop talking over his video here. Let's see if we can hear it.
Oh yeah, it's hot video.
Too low in my life, gotta stay high, gotta stay high.
3rd and 4, back
Too
pass, blitz is
low
on,
in my
lob ends
life,
over
yeah,
Bridges,
gotta
it
stay
is
high when they play
Trajan
side.
Bridges.
Too low in my life, so I gotta stay high, yeah, I gotta stay high. Too low in my counteracts up. I got my stacks up. Bad little bitch, tell her back up. In the cut with the mag tuck. Run up on me, get hit up. MLS need to pick them up.
Throws out
Six
to
shots
the
to the head
left.
like
Reese
whoa.
has it.
Run through
Curls
six,
it up
no
to the 15.
wall.
Dances to the
Don't
guy. Touchdown.
My gun sing like we show Rick on my coat, no superhero. BBS my wrist like Sub-Zero. Play like guitar, no hero. Run the money up, stack it like Legos. Bad wanna I say Lego. RP to mine, gone. Sometimes I wish I could hit your phone. I don't really wanna walk through life alone. Ain't too many real here no more. I lost my woody, my heart cold. Now I gotta walk through life alone. Now I gotta walk through life alone. Now I gotta live this life alone.
Intercepted! He got it this time! It was Benito! You cannot hitch the wagon! Put the ponies in the board!
Too low in my life, yeah, I gotta stay. Hate it when they play both sides. Too low in my life, gotta stay high, gotta stay high. Too low in my life, yeah, I gotta stay.
All right, you can see Hardcore's fired up after. I can tell you, if I would worked a long shift like he apparently has worked and had to drive, who knows how far, I probably wouldn't be quite as excited as he is. He probably doesn't have kids at home like we do, so maybe that gives him a little more energy. He's obviously got he's got a little more life left in him than we do, but
he's got the dogs. He's young. You forget that. He's in his early 20s.
Sure.
14-hour days is nothing for that guy, right? So,
as you can see here, we got a lot of stats up here. Oklahoma is leading the nation. They're in the top 10 in almost everything, except for I think run defense. Obviously, they're on a big winning streak. One of the things he showed in his highlight video there was clips of Oklahoma versus Baylor last year. That was a close game. Both times they played, Oklahoma won it at the very end. So I think. I don't think this will be the case today, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful this thing stays a lot closer than what the paper says it's going to be.
Yeah, I think we're just looking for a good game week. It's just always fun and impressive to see him play, no matter what, even if it is a blowout. Just to watch him play the game, I think it's just fun. That's why I'm a big supporter of his stream personally. I personally, it's ironic because I watched half of the league before this even started. So, but it's I've been watching him from a long time now, since he started a few months ago. And, he's a good streamer. He's really good at this game. He's really good with this team.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think, in a true make things fair, if in the spirit of the league, we probably shouldn't have given this team to Hardcore. That really wasn't a balanced attack. Maybe in hindsight, we should have had some sort of play-in tournament, and the player that does the worst gets to pick first, and we kind of work backwards. And maybe he should have been someone that's having to pick a Power 5 or a Group of 6 team versus a Power 5 team or something like that. But it is what it is, and he's taken advantage of what he's been given, and he is producing. That's that cannot be overstated. There's a couple key injuries you can see there. Baylor's got a couple defenders out. I also want to note Baylor's a top 25 scoring team and a top 5 defensive scoring team. So they're doing pretty well on both sides of the ball. Now, obviously, one thing we didn't talk about yet is their opponents. They have not played anybody. John, you've got the list there, but it's like University. It's like Louisiana Monroe, Buffalo, Kansas. It's a bunch of lower tier teams that they've kind of feasted on. They lost to Chuck. They've lost to their tough competition, and this is definitely the toughest they've had all year.
Yeah, I mean, their best win was a couple weeks ago against Iowa State. They beat Kansas last week, who was 5-3, who knew at one point was undefeated, has dropped 3 since then. So I believe since Hardcore played them, they were undefeated, and then they've dropped 3 since, which we kind of suspected. But
sure, they got into the middle of their schedule.
As far as him getting the Oklahoma team, that was just kind of the nature of the right. Kind of the order of people that got involved. They were all trying to, as we mentioned before in different streams. I don't know if anybody's talked about it before, but everybody's picking a team from a conference from a certain division to kind of spread it out that way. So it was kind of first come, first served in that aspect. Sure. So he was there early. He got blessed to have a good team.
Sure. Couple notes that I just noticed. So obviously I'm a big coin toss guy. Sometimes that's the only loss Hardcore takes all day is the coin toss. So let's see how he does here. And I also, during that little highlight video they showed, one of the animations they showed was what should have been a quarterback. It looks like Baylor won the toss, and they elected to kick. So Hardcore takes another coin toss loss. That's starting to be a theme here. So hopefully he can recover from that early setback.
He knows you so well. He just said that in his stream about he knew you would say something about losing the toss. Which, of course, and true to your fashion, we know. You gotta pick something.
Coaches have tendencies, and so do broadcasters, right?
That's
so Brown takes it up the left side. What I was going to say is during that kind of intro that the computer puts together, they showed what should have been a quarterback dancing around in the pocket, but the player that they used was one of his offensive linemen, number 56. So he was like dancing around with the ball. I don't know if you noticed that, but
Yeah,
pretty
it's
funny.
always something funky with this game. This is just old school. Madden of this game has the same screw up animations as that.
As Rattler hands the ball off the middle to Brooks, it is worth noting there is a little bit of crowd noise that is affecting Hardcore's ability to kind of see the play. That's the first time I've seen Hardcore come up against that, where he's actually getting some crowd noise and he's getting that kind of shaky play animation. So he must not have his coach up high enough to address that. But that is interesting. We'll see if that has any effect on him in the game.
Right, yeah, and they all started with a new coach, so it's all the. So yeah, everybody's getting that crowd noise, and he is, once again, we talked about it being back end loaded. All of his away games are coming up, right? He played a lot of home games early, a lot of away games late, and most of these games are on the road.
Early third down here, 3rd and 2. See how he looks into probably what is going to be a passing situation. Rattler drops back, throws a quick curl to Hazelwood, who makes a juke, stays on his feet, gets pushed out of bounds after a 23-yard pickup. So Hardcore's excited about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Hazelwood's a big part of the offense. We know that Rambo's a big part of that offense. Plenty of options for him to go as far as the passing game. That's what makes it difficult to stop him.
Absolutely. And here looks like a deep bomb. Let's see. Oh, he's audible to a quick screen pass to his receiver. He's audible and all over the place. Let's see what he comes up with.
Yeah, we know he just likes to switch it up until he finds what he wants.
Rattler hits Weeze across the middle, almost a first down.
And yeah, I mean, you think about it, his top 2 receivers, that's his second option. Weeze and Rambo's his third option, who could easily be a starter for most of the teams in the country. No Sharp loves Rambo, so.
Absolutely. So it looks like he's going to try to run a sweep to the right here. Brooks has got a couple blockers out in front. Hardcore reads that perfectly, breaks it. Defense is pursuing. Great 24-yard rush. I have a hard time getting stretch plays like that to work in this game. In Madden, they work like crazy, but in this one, unless you got a ton of speed, I have a hard time with those stretch plays, but Hardcore really pulled it off there.
Yeah, I know the stretch and the sweep can be very difficult. The opponent, and he obviously does with this Oklahoma team.
Hazelwood comes in motion. Let's see what he's going to do here. Little swing pass to Hazelwood for what looks like a loss, 2-yard loss. Big stop.
And then that's that formation where he's going to sub in the backup quarterback. And so it's just kind of situational there, if you're wondering about that. As I couldn't figure out why that had happened at one point. I thought Rattler was hurt, but he's just got to kind of set up in those short goal lines.
He's got a goal line quarterback to sub in there, something he's done on his own.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm assuming he did that on his own, obviously.
Yeah. What do you think about that? I'm not a fan of teams when they take their best quarterback, like the New Orleans Saints, when they sub Breeze out to bring in like Taysom Hill. I think if you got a guy that's your guy, he needs to be in there every play. You get used to the line, listening to certain cadences, and I think it's more disruptive than it's helpful. How do you feel about quarterback switching?
You as a Florida Gator fan, I find that shocking. First off, that you're not a fan of the. But sometimes it didn't work for Florida, right? But yeah,
the early 2000 Spurriers when he was swapping every time, and
Palmer, and that didn't work out.
No,
in a couple of games. So
the only time it's worked out was when they would bring Tebow in as kind of a curveball, and he was more of a running back. It was really more like a wildcat. He hardly ever threw the ball that first year. So
yeah. So as we're talking about that, I mean, a big stop for Baylor earlier, hardcore, but I think it had a lot to do with the play calling there. I didn't really like the play calling. Some unusual stuff out of him. Like we said, subbing
Kansas
out
beats
Rattler.
Oklahoma State.
That's, I mean, just after we talked about how Kansas had dropped so many games in their mouth, and of course, eat the commentaries words there, as I have D-Lone words, and there Kansas gets a big win.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that just goes to show you that the Big 12 is either really good top to bottom or really bad top to bottom. We've yet to see, because hardcore blowing through there. Chuckleberry has kind of a poor team, and he's struggled to get his play going, so it's hard to get a read either way. Hardcore's killing everybody. Chuck's keeping them tight. They're beating the heck out of each other. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right.
Baylor comes out with a quick pitch. Hardcore changing defenders is getting himself in trouble here, and Baylor starts off with a great run, 22-yard rush. Hardcore switching players all over the place. They're looking to go fast. They're going no huddle right off the bat.
Yeah, it's a good start for Baylor, holding them to the field goal after that long. Good first play on offense.
Baylor motions a receiver. Brewer drops back to pass. He's got guys wide open all over the place. Sneed, the receiver that came in motion. There was 2 or 3 guys they could have went to right there, and Baylor was marching.
Yeah, it's a really great early drive. Good run, good pass. Nice balance early for Baylor. So this is something we maybe didn't.
Hardcore's really overloading that left side right where Ebner runs. He cuts back. Hardcore had defenders in position to make that play. There was a hole in the middle, but something Ebner didn't like about it, and he ended up cutting back right into an unblocked defender.
Yeah, great play call on the defensive side. Great adjustment. Kind of could feel the read for what play was coming up and made a great play.
Hardcore brings some pressure. They blitz up the middle. Pretty good hole. Much more manageable, 3rd and 2. Hardcore brought some pressure kind of around the edges, and it really opened that center, and Baylor ran right into the open hole.
And this hurry-ups maybe giving them a little bit of effect, but what a great stop there. On the 3rd and short, they run the ball. It's that attacking defense that we've known so well from. It's a one loss. Now they're forced into the.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that Hardcore, he likes to blitz those corners a lot. It's a run, definitely a run blitz. But I feel like as a user, if he was to do that, that play action would be really effective. Maybe you can't get deep bombs, but being able to throw right behind where he's bringing that corner, he thinks you're going to run and you throw right behind it. But yeah, as Baylor picks up a field goal, kick deep to Brown, he's going to bring it up the right side. Hardcore is one of the best returners we've got in this league. He gets it out, 28-yard return.
Yeah, and that was a crazy long field goal. So their field goal kicker, I have no clue how long that ended up being, but it was plenty of distance right down the middle.
Sure.
So that's going to come in handy as it's a tie game now.
And Brooks takes a handoff to the left, hardly gets anywhere, only picks up 2 as Hardcore's running that loaded formation. He's really playing kind of tight to the vest here. I haven't been super impressed with his play calls. Looks like he's going to a screen here.
Yeah, he's able to march down the field and then did some interesting stuff in the goal line. But it's a great screen call to Brooks, and it's going to be 3rd and short, 3rd and 2 for Oklahoma.
Yeah, Brooks, Hardcore doesn't go to the screen game as much as some of the guys do. He certainly doesn't do it as much as the computer does it, but he uses it very effectively when he does use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can defend it well, he can run it well, knows when is effective in that matter. So here we can see he's just trying to figure out what the best play call here is.
Baylor brings some pressure. He throws right behind it, picks up that blitzing linebacker, and throws right over into that zone where the linebacker should have been. Rambo picks up a 14-yard gain. Yeah,
and there's Sharp Sky Rambo with the big catch, and already all 3 receivers involved.
Hardcore looks like he wants to take a deep shot here. He's going to audible somebody to a quick curl route, I'm sure, and throw some cheese for us. So let's see what he ends up doing here. And he goes across the middle to Brooks. Brooks picks up another catch. I think that's his 2nd catch. He's got 8 yards now. So looks like he had some curl routes. I'm glad he didn't throw to him because that's one of my pet peeves, but he did pick up the completion.
Honestly, I thought he was going to go to Rambo on the slant and did not throw that. But here's another screen play, and it's going to be to Brooks. He's going to miss the tackle, cut back inside, and it's a great run after the catch. 13-yard reception already with 3 receptions for 21 yards early in the game.
Emigs just called out in chat that Oklahoma State lost. Yeah, we noticed that. That's going to mix some things up for sure. That certainly hurts Hardcore's BCS number when it all settles out. Hardcore runs some play action here. Rattler stands in the pocket, hits a corner route. Austin Stogner picks up a 25-yard gain. He was right between two defenders, so that was a great ball.
That was a dot, folks. That's what we're talking about, a dot. That's where you see the skills where he just laid that. That's probably a pick from me, quite honestly. If I throw that, I wouldn't have thrown that.
Brooks runs another sweep, but the defender's able to hold his ground here and pick up a loss. JT Lid's got 3 tackles already. That's his first tackle for a loss. Kennedy Brooks still getting over 6 yards a clip, though, so he's having a good day so far.
Yeah, this goal line defense for Baylor is looking. as they got that stop last time, and there's a big stop once they get inside the 10 on the first play. But
tough defense. They stop him right at the goal line. I'm surprised that wasn't a touchdown, but we're going to have a 3rd and goal, and it's worth noting, Hardcore isn't always a fast starter, but this is one of his slower starts, and we've got a tie game going into the second quarter with Hardcore getting the ball 3rd and goal from about the 1-inch line. So what do you think? I'm curious what he's going to come out. He may show us some stats here, or he may just go right back. Oh, he is going to show us some stats. He mentioned he might do this at the quarter mark, so we can look at a couple things. So, he's 9 of 10 passing. We've called that out. Not a lot of rush yards yet. There hasn't been a lot of possessions. Both teams have had the ball and scored a field goal. Oklahoma now has their 2nd possession. So. Not a lot going on. Kind of a low possession game. Only 3 possessions in the quarter is kind of a low number.
Yeah, I mean it's once again we've seen that tighten up as far as Baylor's defense, but it's been a pretty balanced attack. Like I said, not a lot of possessions. Only it's the 2nd possession of the game for Oklahoma. A lot of chewing up the clock, long drives, lots of plays, and he's making it look easy there with Rattler. Spencer Rattler with a 1-yard touchdown run. If it's not there, just take it, run. And that's what's so difficult to stop this offense.
Yeah, I wasn't sure he was going to get in there. He made a good cutback to the left, but I saw it was a quarterback draw, obviously, when he showed us the play. But I was a little bit worried. Obviously, there was no linebackers or anything there, but Hardcore being Hardcore, he made the right read.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a good play call. Why not when you have a guy like Rattler spread the field out, run the quarterback draw. There's nobody home as they're covering out those receivers, and if your offensive line is as good as Oklahoma's, it's going to be available.
As Oklahoma kicks it deep, Baylor's going to take it over on the 25. They came out early with an option, and they kind of threw all over the place. They did basically anything they wanted. Oklahoma finally tightened up. Oklahoma comes out in the zone here. Let's see what we get early on. As Hardcore reads that, user tackle in the backfield.
And that's what he reads that so well. It's very difficult in this game to get that animation to work because it usually will pull you back into the zone. So he times that up so well every time. We see him run a zone, he's still able to get the blitz.
As Hardcore again chases down. He's I don't know what he's doing. I feel like he's got Coach Stradamus on even when he doesn't. He's always got guys in the backfield.
Yeah, he's just able to read the plays. Even when he's in, it feels like he's there. Just a brilliant play call. Just sends the dogs. Baylor panics. Brewster panics, and it's like an incomplete pass.
The funny thing is that would have been a perfect play call if he would have just stood on his pocket. They were running a screen pass, and he brought the whole house, and that guy would have been wide open and probably had who knows how much field in front of him, but the quarterback panicked.
Yeah, and that's what you see a lot of times. If you can, the quarterback rattles, they're just going to make a bad decision.
Absolutely. There were some great cuts there by Hazelwood on that punt return.
Yeah, just so much talent on this Oklahoma team. We've seen it over and over again with the returns. He just has good stick. Good return for him.
Rattler hands it off to Brooks up the middle. Middle linebacker misses a tackle. Safety ends up making a stop 7 yards downfield. Now so be Hardcore going no huddle.
Yeah, it's important possession here for Baylor. It's kind of that second shadow. We see him kind of get on a roll where he runs off 21, 28 points, and before you know it, the game's over. Can Baylor get a stop as we get a pass to Stogner, and it'll be 3rd and 1. Can they get the stop on 3rd down?
It's interesting. Hardcore's switching to these deep bombs, and he's throwing underneath a lot. I'm surprised he's not taking any shots downfield. Hardcore looks to throw a short one again. Rattler drops back to pass, drops way back, ball gets batted back, and we got a 4th and 1. Harker's going to go for it, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. But great defense by Baylor. They really jammed up the receivers, didn't want those slants, and Rattler just didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. Was lucky just to get away with it, so we have an opportunity here on 4th down.
And the defense doesn't audible out. Hardcore recognizes they're in a goal line. They don't shift. Probably going to be ugly here. Runs a screen. Stevenson catches it, picks up a huge 15-yard gain. That's just hardcore taking advantage of the AI. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, it gets them in a bad formation and they don't audible out of. Can't even, maybe, you know what I
can't
mean?
fault him for it. Yep, that's
No.
good. The defense is capable of audibling. I mean, they certainly could have changed and they didn't. So
Yeah.
he's given us some different looks today. We see an option play here. He throws it to Brooks. Brooks seemed to be at a wide receiver spot that time. So great route by Brooks.
Great route, wide open. Nobody took him. Looks like they were in zone. Nobody picked it up. And just a great play call there. Fell for the play action. Nobody went with Brooks, and he just had wide open spaces again.
We get another sweep to the left. Brooks has got one man to make miss, and he's able to make the open field tackle. So we're going to have a second and goal from about the 1.
Yeah, and Baylor had their opportunity there. They got the third down. Unfortunately for them, Oklahoma goes for it, and now they're paying the price as this lead is really starting to stretch out.
Hardcore's throwing the ball down here. I wonder if he's going to try to scramble Rattler out or what he's looking to do here. Baylor's in his zone. They're not bringing any pressure. Rattler should be able to get this in. He throws, ends up finding Stogner for the touchdown.
Wow, just really stretched out that play. It looked like Brooks was but jammed up in coverage there. It looked like in that zone coverage. Didn't come free. None of that, but it was Rattler was able to escape once again with that agility to stretch out the play. Stogner comes wide open in the end zone. And as it slowed down there for him a little bit of that big fourth down conversion led to that touchdown. And now really starting to stretch out the lead as we see us 14 lead, 14 unanswered. Oklahoma here in the second.
Yeah, the closest defender to that play was actually a different Oklahoma tight end. So I'm not sure who he was throwing it to, but there was 2 of them there to catch it. So the real pain there was the fact that Baylor just didn't bring any pressure. Rattler could have stood there all day. Not one person was coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Just dropped back in that zone. Couldn't get past the offensive line. Was able to just kind of stretch out that play, get a little bit more time, and stretch Baylor out. It's another run right up the middle for Ebner. He's averaging about 5 yards a game, just not just steady, but not enough to sustain the drives of these last.
Baylor's going to need some big plays here if they want to get back into this. As Brown comes off the blitz right into the run play, and Hardcore couldn't have called that any better. That's absolutely why he's the top defensive player in this league. I mean, he called a cornerback blitz. He user played the guy and ran him right in to make the tackle. That was incredible.
Yeah, and now here we see a 3rd and long, and you're talking about big plays, and they're just running it up the gut plays out of the shotgun.
They throw a quick swing pass to Ebner. 6 yards is great, but when you need 8, it's just not enough. We're going to have another punt.
Yeah, and just another. We're getting in blowout danger. Right, and this is it. Slow start. Starts to fill it out. Starts getting the defensive stops. This offense can't be stopped. It seems like. As Hazelwood, another great return to juke. Have no clue how he got out of that. But another great field position here for Oklahoma, set up to really stretch this lead out early.
Yeah, not great yardage. Only still under 200 yards. He's got 60 yards in this quarter, but he's got 2 touchdowns in this quarter. So obviously he started on the 1-inch line, which is worth noting. But we'll see what he does here.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of that has to do with the great field position. They've gone 3 and out. He's got it around the 40-45 yard line when he's possession, so he just hasn't had the yards to have to get these touchdowns.
He takes a deep shot to Hazelwood, just overthrows him. I'm glad to see him actually take a shot. It's his first kind of real bomb downfield. The defender was lockstep with Hazelwood as he went, though. That wasn't a great option, but I'm glad to see him push the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's that classic example. He's trying to stretch them out. You know that Baylor's pass defense is good. They're showing that with the deep ball there, as their corners are really good. But once again, just audible and trying to figure out the best play here. Looks like it's going to go slants to Rambo. and wide open. And Rattler's almost perfect. I think he might have one incompletion. Well, two now. It's three. It's three after that. It was after that Hazelwood incompletion.
Yeah, but
So
still,
really good
I mean,
start.
he's looked as good as he could possibly look at this point. He hits Rambo again over the middle, another 7 yards. So he's staying ahead of the down and distance here, 2nd and 3. He's going to go no huddle. Great position to really call anything in the playbook here. He's got 2nd and short from about the 40. Easily could throw a bomb here. Easily could run. He can do anything he wants.
Yeah, and it's a sharpshooter's guy. Rambo is really key possession is he's going to go to Stogner right middle, wide open, 26-yard reception, and that's 4 receptions for 55 yards. So really spreading out the ball. I think that's. Let's see. He's got Brooks. He's got Hazelwood involved. He's got Rambo. He's got Weeze involved and Stogner.
Yep.
I mean, that's 5-6 guys that he's got the ball to early in this game.
He comes back to Brooks for another catch. That's Brooks' 5th catch. He's got over 100 all-purpose yards. He's over 50 on the receiving and like 60-something rushing. So he's having a great game.
Yeah, both of those guys are. And I think we kind of mentioned that beginning of the game about that Heisman. I don't know that he's going to be able to push anybody at this point just with Alabama, and Najee Harris is a great call here on the slot run to Theo Howard, as Theo Howard now gets involved in the game and gets a running touchdown.
Yeah, I think with the way Ravens fans playing, the Heisman is going to end up getting to be ridiculous. So I think anybody chasing that is probably wasting their time. I mean, he had 10 touchdowns last week, which, to use a Deezism, you hate to see it. You'd like to see these guys make things maybe a little bit more realistic, but shout out to Ravens fan for doing what he does. I mean, he's been consistent, and I guess if you want him to stop doing it, then show up on the field and beat him. So A&M was able to beat him, Yofi was able to beat him, but nobody else has been able to so far.
Yeah, it was to kind of break into that because both of these players for Oklahoma were in that down. You're seeing King, you're seeing Harris with South Carolina, who dropped down, have another good game and bump back up. And of course, Najee Harris is he's Ravens fans just having him put up crazy numbers. Same thing with crazy numbers with King and Miami and Coach Brian. So.
Yeah, he had 9 touchdown passes the other day. So
yeah.
Fantasy World League makes a comment in the chat. Next year it all changes. That's absolutely right. I mean, it looks like this is going to be a one-time season here just to kind of break everything in, get us. This is kind of our really long preseason. For those of you that don't know, next year, once we get a national champion here, we're going to restart the G12. There's a couple reasons we're doing that, but we are going to restart the G12 and go down to a lot more user versus user games. So consolidate the teams. We are going to let them pick the team that they like, but consolidate that into a couple conferences, do some custom conferences to force a lot more user games and make more of the games matter throughout the season, have a lot less computer games and end up being blowouts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a fair way to do it where we're seeing more users. We want to see those games anyway. But we're kind of missing this great Baylor drive here to end it up the half to maybe stay in this game. I
was actually thinking we shouldn't jinx them and we'll just keep talking about everything
that's
but
true.
them.
Yeah, I probably just jinx Baylor, right?
Like a pitcher throwing a no hitter, and they go to the dugout and you don't even make eye contact with them. You just let them do their thing. Brewer throws an out pass. That was bad play by Hardcore, and I would let anybody else get away with that, but 9 times out of 10, Hardcore picks that pass off in the flat, and he's going for a touchdown.
Yeah. He felt like he almost read it, was almost there, just couldn't quite make the play on it. As he's going to send White, pressure, and this is just kind of one of those drives that doesn't seem to matter what. CPU is just going to make a drive here to keep this game close, and Baylor's doing a great job.
Yeah, Hardcore, I think no matter what he does here, CPU is going to let Baylor get some points. Unless Hardcore really steps up and makes some kind of miracle happen. The CPU wants this game to be a little closer at halftime. Ebner tries to run up the middle, and he's not able to get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's just once again, a great read. Right up the gut. It's going to be a big down here for Baylor. We'll see what they come out with. Are they going to use Ebner here and utilize him to get this first down?
Baylor 0-3 on third downs. Fails to convert again. So we're going to have a fourth down, probably another field goal. This one's a chip shot, if you will, compared to the last kick we saw Baylor make. So they should be able to knock this one in. It looks like it was only a 50-yarder, John. I thought it was a lot longer than that. But
that was still, he bombed that thing. I mean, it was good for as much room as he still had.
Sure.
So that's what I was saying. It wasn't necessarily. I knew it was a long field goal the way that he made it with so much extra space. So he nails that one.
It was good for 70 if he needed it.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. But yeah, just we talked about hardcore. Maybe not the CPU trying to get a touchdown there, but two really good reads on defense. Sent the pressure, stopped the run, and then was able to get that pressure on the quarterback. Really made a difference there and held him to a field goal to keep this at a sizable lead here coming into halftime. We'll see. Is he going to go for the points, or is he going to, which I suspect he will.
I think he absolutely will. He's still got 2 timeouts. I would be shocked if he doesn't go for the points here. I do want to mention, I think Hardcore is going to try to jump on. It looks like he's going to run up the middle, and nope, he's thrown. But Hardcore says he's going to jump on with us at halftime and give us a little halftime interview. So if you want to get any questions ready for that, John, we'll see him here in a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
As he throws to Kennedy Brooks, so he's got to probably rush up no huddle here if he's trying to score. Clock stops on a first down in college football, so he's still going to try to preserve those 2 timeouts as long as he can. He's not in a great formation to try to get a lot of things done, but he's going to see what he can do with it. As Conyers gets tackled in bounds, he should probably blow a timeout here, and he does.
Yeah, maybe switch personnel, really trying to mix it up a little bit. We've seen a little patience, different plays out of them tonight. Little things, a little bit unusual, running some different stuff, maybe trying some different stuff out, how it works, which makes you realize how comfortable he is right now with this lead.
Brooks gets stopped. Hardcore's trying to preserve that 1 timeout. I'm surprised if he wanted to preserve that 1 timeout, he would even call that run. Looks like he's going to run again here. So maybe he's hoping Brooks can break something like he does here. Ends up picking up a solid run. It's 1st and 10. Brooks has got 75 on the ground and another 60 in the air. So he's on his way to being player of the game as it looks.
Yeah, just really balanced offense right now by Baylor. Even with not a lot of time left, able to run the ball. No panic in this offense. Great read to Rambo there.
If I make that throw, the defense picks it off 9 out of 10 times. There was a guy over, there was a guy under. I never make that throw. That was an incredible throw.
Yeah, just absolutely throwing dots right now with that bracketed coverage on the post. And he got it, timed it out perfectly, just right off the cut, and he's still running Brooks with 15 seconds left.
Uses his last time out.
And probably going to see a couple of throws to the end zone. If you can't get those, maybe just take the.
I would assume he's probably not going to run anymore here. He's going to try to get as many shots on the end zone as he can. As Rattler drops back, throws across the middle, so he picks up a first down. So that's probably his last chance he's going to have to go over the middle. He's got to take 1, maybe 2 shots into the end zone as quick as he can.
Yeah, absolutely. And the clock stops with that first down.
Rattler getting happy feet in the pocket. He's only going to have 1 more shot at the end zone here. He throws it away. And you think he kicks a field goal, takes the points, and goes to the half, or does he take another shot?
If it were me, I would say yes, just take the. But yeah, he's going to. Looks like, which I think is the right decision. You got a comfortable lead. You took your shot. You drove down the field there with a minute left, and got points right before the half. So that's huge. You're not going to get the ball again, so just get those points up. It's not it's the Baylor's keeping it closer than usual, but right there, just a really great quarter. I just kind of looked to see what was open. There was just really
You had a tiny window there that you could have
Yeah,
probably
it was
hit
just-
either of those two guys in, but
Yeah, that would have been a tight throw, and I think it's better there just to keep the ball thrown away points, not to force anything. There's to give Baylor any momentum going into the half. Take
smart
a chance of
onside
a
kick.
sick onside kick, run out the clock. Yeah, so just all in all, a really good second quarter there after that slow start lead and get those points right before half.
Looks like he's coming to jump on with us. You know, he scored right before the half, and that kind of negates the fact that he has to kick the ball off to them in the second half. It almost makes the halftime become nothing. He scored, and he would have been kicking off to him anyway. So there's a couple things I like to do there. If I'm getting the ball in the second half, I love to score and then get the ball right back. If I'm not getting the ball, I love to score and then end up having that kickoff really be negated where I would have been kicking off to him anyways. You can shorten possessions for sure.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Coach Hardcore, thanks for jumping on. It's Pirate Ike and John Robb on here. Great half so far. What are your initial thoughts on how the game's going?
Pretty well. I think we are getting a little cute in the red zone, but Baylor's playing a pretty good game. Happy with the results so far. We're taking care of the football.
Coach, you came out, as you said, kind of cute in the red zone. That first drive, you ran a lot of kind of goofy stuff. You ended up with your backup quarterback in on one play. Are you looking to tighten things up here and go to a little more smash mouth in the red zone, or you think you'll keep trying to throw all over the place?
I don't know. I don't decide those things.
When are we going to see a shuffle pass?
Well, you'll definitely see one of those in the second half. I can promise you that. But no, I don't know. We like trying different things. I mean, you know how we are. Like, we know that we could probably pound it in the end zone, but we want to be able to do different things when we get down there if we need to. So we'll keep, having some fun with it. My favorite play the first half probably, honestly, was that play where we came on the I formation and split Brooks out and hit him on a curl route. That was pretty fun. So we're having fun with it. You know how we always are.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. It seems like you were there in the first half than you know. Is that what you're kind of doing? You're feeling comfortable? You're maybe just testing some stuff out, is what it looks like.
I think it's because I haven't played the game for a week and a half, and so I'm just kind of enjoying all the aspects of it. I feel like when you play it a lot, you kind of just get into a routine. But I haven't played it for about a week and a half, so I'm enjoying every different aspect of it so far.
Awesome. Yeah, Kennedy Brooks has almost 100 yards on the ground and 60, 70 yards in the air. Do you think you can get him 100 on each?
Probably. That probably end up happening. I mean, I'm happy with the way we got him on that cute little wheel route on that flex bone formation. We hadn't done that before, so that was fun. But they haven't really covered the screens that well either, so that's been a nice positive for us because we struggled in the screen game last week.
Wanted to share a little bit of news that you may have noticed on the bottom of your screen. Kansas beat your rival Oklahoma State today, so obviously that's another big shakeup in the Big 12. So, and A&M lost again as well. So, been some upsets today. You seem to have this one well in hand. Do you plan on? We talk about this every week. Do you plan on pushing your starters clear through, or are you starting to look towards the home stretch here and making sure you keep guys healthy?
Hey, they'll at least play through the third quarter. Come on now.
All right, thanks.
We're going to ask it every week, Hardcore.
I understand. I'll get y'all after the game.
All right.
See you later. All right, that was awesome having Hardcore jump on. I like that. We've done that, I think, 3 games. I'm not sure, at least 3 that I've been involved with. So it's nice to have a little bit of a break between the plays and kind of get some perspective. I think it's something we should definitely do anytime we have user games. I think it makes sense to pull them on for a second. I think it's a cool aspect.
Gives everybody time to breathe. That's why I appreciate the stats there in the first half. We talked about that, not being in too big of a hurry. We get a chance to breathe and catch up what's going on. But yeah, great early kickoff here, and Baylor's going to start with it at the 25. But we had some confusion about the old shovel pass, Pirate, in the chat. Do you want to explain your favorite play in the game?
I think it's. I think they've worked it out. I've been kind of watching it here. It really is a Utah pass. Sooner Ken called that as Atkins again. If we don't pay attention to Baylor, they do great things. as they throw a 52-yard bomb. So
It's
we're going to check out and see what Baylor can do here for the rest of this drive. But it's called the Utah pass, so it's really an option play where you've got a pitch man on your one side and a more traditional pitch, but you also have a pitch man as White just blows that up in the backfield.
Yeah,
so.
Probably the best linebacker in the country.
Absolutely.
Big pass play, a great start for Baylor in the second half, and bam, just a 4-yard loss immediately with that blitz from White from the right outside linebacker position.
But you end up with a man on the inside as well. So as the quarterback, you can pitch it out like a traditional option pass, or you can actually do an inside pitch as Ebner runs up the middle. And that inside pitch, if it falls incomplete, it's just an incomplete pass. So if you pitch it to the outside guy and he drops it, that's a fumble. But the inside pitch is an incomplete pass. So it's kind of a different take on the option. The reason that it's kind of an inside joke with Hardcore and White makes a pick.
Oh, my God, he ran that so good.
White probably doesn't have the speed to finish this thing off.
No, great tackle by Ebner. We got a flag here. Personal foul, face mask. It's going to add another. Man, but did you see that? He sent White on the blitz, read it immediately, rushed him straight to the running back, and put his guy in perfect position. Like, that's sick. I can't do that. I literally can't. Like, it's too tempting for me to try to sack the quarterback. I don't have the discipline to pull the guy off, read the screen play, and that's why he's so good, as he has that kind of discipline. And now Brooks on the 8-yard run, and set right after that great play, looked like a great start to Baylor. Bam, mistake, and Oklahoma's in scoring position.
And White makes both of the plays, right? Hardcore user controlling right. He makes a big stop in the backfield, and then user picks. As Brooks again goes to that sweep, he can't quite turn it up. The play before that, where they picked up 8 yards, was a really cool formation. They were in a flex bone. They motioned one guy, like they were really kind of the momentum of the play was going to the right pretty heavily, and then Brooks ended up coming back on a counter. But it was different than a lot of them that I've seen before. So it was a really cool look.
Yeah, he's got a lot of just unusual formations in this set. He runs his own playbook, and just a lot of interesting stuff that we're seeing out of Hardcore tonight.
As Stevenson picks up and Stevenson I don't think has a touchdown yet today, but he gets down to the 1 yard line. And let's see where Coach Hardcore, who he gives this ball to. He really has been spreading around the touchdowns. I'm curious where this one ends up as he looks to run a screen pass on the goal line.
There's your untraditional play call, a screen pass from the 2 yard line to Brooks.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he
great
does
play
not
by
get
Baylor.
him.
Great team speed, great discipline to stay with the screen.
Poor blocking. The defender.
There was nobody there for him. Yeah, so he's not really pounding. It looked like he was going to mention inside the red zone. But here he's just getting a little cheeky, right? And running
backup quarterback in as he runs the kind of a Tebow formation, a wildcat, hands it off to Hazelwood. Is that Hazelwood's second rushing touchdown, or did a different receiver get the first?
It was a different. Receiver. It was Howard the first time. So this one's with Hazelwood, who does, I believe, have a receiving touchdown. Maybe he had that big touchdown or big pass play earlier in the game. That might be his first touchdown, but really spreading the ball out. That's there's so many options for him to go to, and he really likes to utilize all those guys, get everybody involved in this offense.
Fantasy World, they just mentioned that interception gutted Baylor. Absolutely, that's not only a drive killer, but a game killer.
Yeah,
momentum has left the building.
I mean, especially after that 52-yard pass. I mean, you start off with a pop, a 52-yard pass, bam, you're close to getting inside the red zone, 4-yard loss, interception, and then you're down 34-6. And that's what we're talking about. That's the difference. That's how he's always in his game, winning by 60, 70 points almost every week is plays like that, right? Where most of us, maybe the computer where they ended up kicking the field goal, that's usually a touchdown, and then they're at the beginning of the half, and maybe they're back in the game. That's 10 points right there. That makes a huge difference whether the game is close or a complete blowout. Oh, what a hit.
Yeah, you can tell if people play defense in their offline dynasties or if they have spent the time in the lab on defense when you see someone like Hardcore play. The ability for him to get guys in the right position, make pre-snap adjustments, and then read. Here again, he reads another screenplay. He wasn't quite able to get there, takes a bad angle on the tackle, but screenplays are really, in my opinion, the biggest litmus test to see who plays defense in their offline dynasties and who doesn't. Because if you lack the ability to notice a screenplay or to make good reads on screenplay, they're really not that hard to defend if you can identify them earlier, or as you mentioned, resist the temptation to try to go get the quarterback and you just go ahead and get the screenplay. If you cover the screenplay, you'll either make a big play or the quarterback will be scared to throw it and you'll end up getting that sack you were after anyways. So it's always the right thing to do to go try to shut down that screenplay versus going to get the quarterback. But Hardcore just makes read after read that is just incredible. I mean, even on plays when he ends up not making the play, if you were to just watch what he does as the user, he is everywhere. I mean, he's covering one guy and then he sees a guy coming on a slant, so he runs over there and he's making plays all over the field. Whether he ends up making the tackle or not, it's just incredible.
And he's really good at diagnosing kind of what play is going to be on defense, kind of by formation and tendencies of the CPU. So, I mean, that shows how big of a loser he is. He plays this game too much, Pirate, in my opinion.
Yeah. And he had a different guy open. I don't remember who it was. I think it was somebody on the seam route up the middle on the left-hand side. But he takes another shot towards Hazelwood. Yeah, being this is like the guys that go for the speed runs on like Super Mario or something like that, right? Like you've got a world record, but it's on Super Mario. Is that really something you're going to put on your tombstone? Hardcore is the world record NCAA player, but really, is that something you want on your tombstone, Hardcore? Come on. I hope he watches the VOD on this.
He definitely will. He's going to watch it tonight, and I can't wait for him to get
a little bit.
Because he will be cracking up. Because obviously, I'm just playing because I'm the guy that not only plays this game, but also watches people.
Yeah, what does that say about us?
What does that always say that? What does that say about me? Oh,
he forces it
now, right? That's just two verts that he's thrown, and great play by Baylor's pass defense, which we talked about how good they were at the beginning of the game. He's been able to move the ball passing, but maybe just getting a little greedy, up 34-6. Just he was doing crazy stuff early in this game, so he's definitely going to continue to do that and see what he can be successful with.
Yeah, he's forced the ball a couple times. We talked about earlier, he hit that post route on the left side, but right between two guys. I mean, sooner or later, that's going to catch up with you. He just likes to do it when he's up 30 points. It's a lot easier to wash those things off when you got a good 30-point cushion. As Baylor they send some guys deep. They hit a guy over the middle. Atkinson picks up a big completion, and Baylor's looking better. Another strong drive.
Yeah,
hopefully, I mean, they can do something.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what we've seen. They've had a couple. Can't get any points out of it, right? It's 2 field goals and then a turnover. And Atkinson's had a really good game for Baylor, to be honest. Both him and Ebner just have pretty good games, just not any points to show for it, no touchdowns to show for it here. Oklahoma's really just tightening up the defense when they get in scoring position. But they are great pass.
That's on Hardcore, 100%.
Yeah.
He was running right with that guy, and for some reason he stopped. He quit following that guy to the corner. If he would have kept following that guy, he knew where the ball was going. He read it like a book. And for whatever reason, when it got to the goal line, he stopped, and that guy ended up getting wide open.
Yeah, and I think that was just a lack of pressure. Threw a really good pass there. And still plenty of time left for great response there for Baylor after that turn. Really needed that one, but here we go. Great return by Brown, and it's again great field position for Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's really hard to get Hardcore down because even when he does make a mistake and you think you've really got him on a gut punch, he turns around and takes the very next play back to midfield and puts his team right back in position. Brooks takes it up the middle for another 8 yards. So Brooks goes over the 100 yards on the ground. we challenged Hardcore to try to get him 100 yards in the air, so we'd have to get him another 40 yards. Little play action fake. He's going to throw it to the flat to Bridges. Another guy coming out of nowhere. That's got to be his 10th receiver that he's hit as he goes over 250 yards in the game.
I mean, this is maybe the best we've seen him spread the ball. I don't know that Bridges he probably has, but not many catches on the year. Getting a lot of people involved in the offense. So that's something we haven't seen. Some different formations we've not seen, and a great play by Baylor. It's a 3-yard loss for Brooks. And
that was
Woods,
another weird formation. They had the overloaded to the right, and he ran a counter back to the left, and Baylor just had too many guys. They couldn't get them all defended.
Kennedy Woods, a lot of action in that linebacker spot, 9 tackles. So a good game out of that linebacker there for Baylor.
Fantasy World showing some love in the chat with some G12s. And Fantasy World calls out, you have to be perfect to be hardcore. I don't think being perfect is enough.
Sometimes it definitely seems like that. He has lost a user. Losing one user game. You know, so it's possible.
Yeah, he's learned a lot since that loss, I would guess.
Yes, he has. We haven't obviously seen him lose since, as far as users as they've been in this league. Another pass to Stogner, 11-yard touchdown reception. And that's another just great play call in the red zone. Is just hard to stop this offense, honestly. I feel like you get the great kick return and then put you on the drive, and it's right back to where we were at. It's 41-13 in a blink of an eye.
It's worth noting, Hardcore is not a player that has been playing this game since release. It's not like he's been sitting around playing this for the last 7 years while it's been out. He just, if I recall correctly, John, he just picked it back up kind of during coronavirus time. Is that about right? He hasn't really played that long.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what. He obviously played this game a lot when it first came out, but he didn't start streaming till March, maybe, I think, something like that. It was right around that time. There was a kind of a tournament before this league started that he did really well in. Beat streamers that aren't in this league, lost to a streamer that's not in this league, but also beat some guys who were in this league. Was able to beat Baker and things like that. Was performed really well. Really impressed Bert. That's how he kind of got invited in, even though he hadn't been on Twitch very long. So, I think he was really good at it then, and he's really when it was offline dynasty, and I think just talented, right? He's a smart guy. He was really young when this game came out. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he wasn't playing like in college.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, we're in a little bit of a different age bracket than he is. So,
and his offline dynasty is really unique. He does a death penalty dynasty. So if you haven't checked out Hardcore Stream, you definitely should try to catch him when he's playing his Pandas team. He's at the point now where that team is good and they're rolling. But there was a few years, he originally cut, I believe, all the players off the roster. He started with basically a complete walk-on. He's got a ton of restrictions on who he can recruit. I know when I play, I almost always play as the Gators. I go after all the 5-star guys I can get. By the third year, my whole team's got 99 speed, and I'm just blowing guys out with my my third stringers, and I don't even care. He took a different approach, and a different approach from what a lot of guys do. You see guys like Big Ian and some of those guys, they do play the New Mexico States and stuff, but that is his death penalty rules are something to be respected.
I never heard of him before. He's so crazy, right? And he relegates. I don't know if you know that or not.
Oh, God.
There it is again. White. Jeez Louise.
Can you get this one to the house? Tiskett just called out that his sliders are from hell, too. So.
Oh, God, yeah. It's like he's got like 5% accuracy on quarterbacks. It's, 15 speed ratio. I mean, 15 recruits per year. Can't recruit. Can only recruit 5 stars. that's in a state or surrounding state. I mean, it's insane what he does with that team and still wins. Ironically, he's lost the team that he currently has, but yeah, it's crazy what he does with that Hawkline dynasty.
Absolutely. When he gets here, this is a break for him.
Yeah,
this is tough for a lot of the guys. They play these power schools in their offline dynasties, and they win pretty handily. And then when they come to these games, they're actually a step up in competition. And this is, for the most part, except for maybe his user game, this is a step down in competition for him in a lot of aspects.
Yeah, he's commented on that, right? When you have that, especially with the quarterback and accuracy ratios going fault solders like most of us play with, but then to switch it to these crazy, where his solders are like 5%, and you don't have to get in a rhythm and things like that. That's why I think you see his starters in, right? He just doesn't get a lot of opportunity with his online desk because he play with the team that's good.
Play with a team that's good that the computer actually lets be good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Here comes the shovel option. Here we go. Everybody look alive. Rambo's going to make it happen right here.
No, cover it up.
Oh, that's all right. Brooks is going to get it. I'll take it. There you go, Pirate. I'll take it. And I'm sure he just said, that one's for you, Pirate. I can't hear him, but I'm guessing that's what he said there.
I got it turned up in my ear.
And even if he didn't say that, that's what I'm going to say he said.
You guys are like in tune with each other.
When you've trolled in this league long enough, you know what most of the coaches are thinking.
Yeah, exactly right. Shout out for the touchdown on probably the worst play in the game, to be honest. That shovel pass definitely doesn't work. It's usually not there. And here he's going to take sub in the second team.
Second team offense only. So he's going to looks like he's going to give his D maybe at least one more drive.
Yeah, and
Rambo got injured up there in the middle. He's out for 2 quarters, so we won't see Rambo again anyways. But kind of interesting. He somehow got hurt on that play as the shovel option. So
yeah. So hopefully that's not too bad. It's we're not having to worry about. Yeah, it's just out for 2 quarters. He was probably going to take him out anyways, right?
He already benched him. So
yeah, no harm, no foul. Get in the rest, and that's why we say it's a good idea. Just at some point, as we talked about at the beginning of the game, another pick. This is just I'm lucky to do that once, maybe 3 games. It's got 3 in 1 game.
I have a hard, fast rule that I do not switch defenders. Period.
Yeah,
and I often say, we all think we're hardcore and we all think we're going to make that play, and we'll make it 1 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
but the other 9 out of 10, we're going to miss it, and they're going to they're going to go backwards the other way on us.
Just 2 really good picks back, and this is where the game stretches out, right? Second and third quarter. Here we are late in the quarter. We're at 48-13, and this game just completely turns on its head after that down drive by Baylor. Maybe a chance to get back in it. And
here's that quick hitter going opposite direction again to a backup Pledger.
Yeah, so you're getting to see well, I guess if we're going to change it up, it just kind of depends on what. Well, but yeah, it's just good to see some different guys in today. And just an all-around really good game. I think minus that greedy verts that he just threw downfield with that pick, it's really been a really clean game by Hardcore and by this Baylor team.
Mordecai scrambles out. He's going to break it, probably take it all the way to the house here. He ultimately ends up getting ran down from behind. A couple things in the chat. Sooner Ken calls out that Howard is a transfer from UCLA, so that's what we like to call the reverse Aikman. So instead of going...
That's a throwback. All these youngsters might not get that one. For you don't know, Troy Aikman actually went to Oklahoma, which was an option team at the time. I think they might have run Wishbone still, even at that time. I have no clue why Troy Aikman, other than I can't imagine why he thought throw the ball there, but it worked out, and he went to transfer to UCLA, and it worked out pretty good for Troy Aikman, I would say.
The same youngsters that don't know that also don't even know Troy Aikman played football, though. So that's probably worth.
That's a good play, like Troy.
They're like, you mean Joe Buck's partner?
Yeah, the guy who commentates on Fox, guys. That guy.
I saw him out there.
Yeah, that's really funny, but yeah, and that's why we see Kaiser actually. And that's why he's in that formations, a couple of those skull on like formations for hardcore. He's actually a little bit better runner than Rattler, I think. So
yeah, he's kind of the Tebow. He's even wearing number 15. So
exactly. So you mentioned that. You saw it on that possession there with that big run, the goal line run for the touchdown there. Make it 55-13.
Auburn Blazer mentioned, is that 3 second-half takeaways? That is 3 second-half takeaways. White has 2 interceptions on screen passes, and then that pick you just saw. There's actually been 4 turnovers because Oklahoma Rattler forced a bad ball as well, and then that's the time that Baylor scored their touchdown in the second half, was after that bad turnover by Rattler.
Yeah, so we went a little turnover heavy into the third and into the fourth, beginning of the fourth quarter, but on kind of both sides there, but really just devastating turnovers for Baylor to put this game completely out of reach.
E-Migs just mentioned that Bob Stoops' kid is in at wide receiver. I didn't notice that yet. We'll have to catch that.
Yeah, so Baylor's still trying to put something together here, salvage something.
Hardcore reads it again, and they luckily pulled that one back. So that's what I mentioned earlier, that a user would be able to make something like that happen, where Hardcore just comes down so hard on those corner blitzes. He knows it's going to be that either handoff on like a 45 base or a read option, and that time the quarterback kept the ball and was able to break a good run.
Brewer just make a really good read there, and Atkinson again.
Don't face me.
And a decent gain of 8 yards is going to make 2nd and 2. So a good little drive, early drive here for Baylor on the hurry up. Maybe get another touchdown before the end of this game.
Let's see if Hardcore can get Stoops a touchdown. I'm going to make sure he call that out in his chat, since Tiskett just said he's number 12, Drake Stoops.
Good old Drake Stoops. I didn't even know Bob Stoops' son. Thanks, chat. That's why we love you guys.
Hardcore is going basically cover 0, going to bring everybody that he can. They throw another quick screen. Fields is able to make the tackle in the backfield.
Yeah, just that press coverage wasn't able to
get the ball back.
Press it. A lot of times those cornerbacks are so good they're able to make that tackle first and not able to get away from it. So
another screen pass. White's all over it again.
Yeah,
forcing incompletion.
No, he's going to be really happy with the defense. You know, big pass plays, but other than that, you've really seen it clamp down here in the second half and get settled in.
Baylor finds a wide open Atkinson, who's having a great game. You've mentioned that a couple times.
Yeah, another 19-yard reception, 7 receptions over 100. Just not enough. I mean, honestly, Charlie Brewer, you can see there. It's stupid to say, but you take away just those 3 picks that are really just Hardcore making really great plays. It's not very often you get interceptions when you're throwing screen passes, but has had a good percentage and had a good game, and another good 14-yard run there by Brewers. He's got 34 yards rushing, so not a terrible performance, really. It just shows you how good of a team Oklahoma is and how good Hardcore is.
It's worth noting, Hardcore has not really got any sacks. I mean, you just called out the rush yards by the quarterback as Baylor scores a late touchdown here to make this a little closer. Brewer has not ran the ball much. I actually was expecting him to have less yards than that because I thought there had been some sacks, but there obviously haven't been. So Hardcore's getting good pressure, but he's really not getting home. I'm not sure he has any sacks. That's something I'll have him check at the end of the game, but I don't really remember him actually getting any sacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't think of any either. As they go onside kick here, Stevenson gets it and a really good return off the onside kick, gets it inside the 40. So yeah, we'll see if he can get Stoops involved here.
Did you happen to notice the Auburn Tennessee score on the bottom of the ticker?
I didn't.
I won't ruin it for you. I'll let you know when it comes up again.
I'll have to definitely look for the. Could it be the upset that we all were?
Auburn is ranked. Tennessee is not.
Shocker.
So,
Something
could
we
they
might
be
see
ranked
in the
after
actual
this week?
football season.
Yeah, exactly.
They have a lot of losses in this. I don't know.
Looks like Wisconsin lost again, so
Yeah.
at least 3 top 10 teams lost again.
Yeah, so we're seeing that. I think you kept harping on it, right? Texas A&M lost.
They ruined it.
You kept saying expect Texas A&M to lose again, and Ravens fans get into the championship game. So man, you're talking about if that comes to fruition, and
They ruined it.
and it was a close game there. You saw too, 40. Dees is going to have 2 tough.
Duke has wheels. Sorry
Yes.
to cut you off
No,
there.
Yeah.
We're standing for a Drake Stoops touchdown.
There it is,
so.
and there it is,
Getting
1-yard
close.
reception. But that should come down to it, where he's going to have 1 week of maybe that SEC championship against Ravens fan. Everything seems to be set up for that, and there we go. Drake Stoops with the touchdown grab.
Thank goodness.
Offsides on Baylor. That's going to be a decline, and a big touchdown there for get involved. So 2 receptions and a touchdown.
Just for you.
D
Oh,
Leather.
no. Why do you do that to me? It was 33-0. So mean.
Glad you saw it.
It's terrible in this game. I think we've seen that, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, luckily it's not reality. Not that I expect them to be.
What is your expectations? They got 10 games. What's your guess?
Like him on TNT or
I'm going to ask you what your guess is on. We'll pick we'll let you pick, and then I'll pick here for our own teams here, and we'll see who ends up being closer in 10 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm expecting maybe 5-5, 6-5. Probably your losses are your typical losses: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and probably a 4th one in there. I'm trying to think. Probably Auburn is the 4th one to make it 6-4. Could lose that first game to South Carolina at South Carolina to start off the season. So
Dees would like that if you could.
Yeah, I think he would. I thought we were going to lose.
Atkinson just stiff arm. He's going to have a 200-yard game.
Pretty close to it after that reception. So the long face by Hardcore is. Let's see what yardage that puts him at. It's at least. What was that, a 75-yard pass?
That was 75. So he's going to be just shy of 2. He's at 185, 190.
Yeah, really impressive game by him. And a lot of points here. 2 cheap touchdowns with that one touchdown he actually had the starters in on that last drive. I think he still had them in. And Baylor still able to put up points. You could kind of see why they kept it close with Chuckleberry. They have a solid team. It's just doing crazy stuff at this point. Stuff we normally don't even see him do. He's got some points, but
He's gonna score another touchdown now.
So you got Georgia at home. Wait, no, you got Georgia on the road.
That's a loss for sure.
Florida at home.
I would love to say that's a win, but I don't.
It's late in the season. They always
late in the
talk.
season.
Tennessee fans always cry about having to play Florida so early in the year.
In 2001, it worked, and it proved a point that if we always played Florida, we wouldn't have a. I don't know, but it's not like Florida gets worse at the end of the year. You know what I mean? So
that cost us the title that year. We would have.
It did.
Had a shot at the title.
Hey, listen, we should have been in the championship game. We choked against
Probably should have put a move on him.
SEC championship game.
So 6-4,
great run by
5
Morgan,
and
by
5.
the way. We missed a really great run by Morgan.
Is he going to get Stoops the second touchdown? That's really the question.
See. What's he going to do here? He's going to run the ball.
Stoops is out there. What's he going to do here?
It looked like it was a run.
Pledger can't get it done. There's a guy in Sooner Ken, I think, wants Pledger to get a touchdown.
Pledger, yeah.
So Florida picked up Ole Miss and A&M.
Yeah, and
Arkansas and A&M. They were already going to play Ole Miss.
Yeah, so
A&M's on the road. That's pretty tough. Stoops.
Dropped the ball.
Stoops almost had it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised that we picked up 2 tough games when we picked up ours. We already had Arkansas.
That's a tough question, RC.
Which I'm sure Arkansas is still going to be terrible. So I don't know. In reality, will they even play those games? I don't know.
Baylor throws a late pick. Mordecai
I got the safety.
ends up getting a safety. So he stumbled. He caught it out of the end zone. Stumbled backwards into the end zone.
That's one of those. In reality, that's not a safety.
That's,
right?
that's just how it goes for hardcore.
I mean, his momentum obviously took him into the. That would have been a touchback, even if you catch it and your momentum takes you into the.
And now he's going to run a kickback and end up getting 70.
Yeah, that's pretty comical, to be honest. But that's the nature of the game. I played, I think a while back, and I got stopped on a 3rd down, and all of a sudden, my only play option was a kickoff. The game glitched and randomly gave me 6 points. I got scored a touchdown, and so you just never know what's going to happen in this game. Weird stuff happens.
Yeah, software development is a fickle beast at best sometimes. Is he going to take one last shot? Looks like he is.
He is. He's just going to rub it in. He's just a terrible person. No sportsmanship.
It will not go unnoticed for sure. As he goes to his tight end, who just does
a zigzag.
He ran away like the floor was lava. He just wanted to get as far away from that circle as he could. Well, that one went about like we thought it would, as Hardcore gives us the classic hardcore shrug, and we see why all the ladies 18 to 45 tune into the G12 on Tuesday nights to see Hardcore's boyish charm.
That's right. Loving the shirt.
Rattler gets player of the game, ends up with 3 total touchdowns. Really an underwhelming game for Rattler on the stat line. But Hardcore did a lot of different things. They had a couple rushing touchdowns with receivers, spread the ball all over the place. Neither Brooks nor Rattler had the touchdown total that they normally get.
He really, just because he spread the ball around so much, he obviously doesn't, he's mentioned that, doesn't so much care about the Heisman. That's not what he's looking for. He's just looking for a clean game. And it was really, that's what we saw tonight, just performance. It was fun. He did a lot of unusual stuff that we see him do. So that made it more entertaining. Just the proof is in the pudding, right, with his defense, of how good his defense is. And he proved that there late in the 3rd quarter and the beginning of the 4th quarter.
While we're waiting for Coach Hardcore to get on, and I should have done this 15 times during the game, but shout out to the G12 merch. John didn't wear his shirt today. I'm not going to let him call the next game with me if he doesn't get his shirt on.
I have a shirt at the P.O. Box.
You just haven't gone to the P.O. Box.
I got to go pick it up. So.
Well, you got till Thursday. I think you're calling a game Thursday. So
I might try to have it tomorrow night, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Go to the P.O. Box by then.
Good transition into the Wednesday night show tomorrow. Those of you that are here, we've got the normal Wednesday, college game day show with John Robb, Vic Pickmaster, unless somehow he happens to get sick and doesn't show up, which I'm still hoping for. But there's a decent chance he'll show up. Yeah, there's a decent chance he'll still show up. But John and I will try to save things for the rest of you in case Vic does show up. And then we have a late game right after that. The Jib Jab Trophy will be awarded tomorrow to the loser of Mac Dub versus Coach Burt. We've got UCF versus Nebraska tomorrow after the pregame show. So I'm excited. This lineup's been a little different. We've got this Taco Tuesday game with Coach Hardcore, and then right after our pregame show, we've got a user game. So I really like the lineup changes that we've made. And I believe we have Coach Hardcore. Are you on with us now?
I am. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Coach, great win. Classic Oklahoma football. You ended up giving up more points than you'd probably like in the second half, but you certainly dominated in every aspect of the game. What were your thoughts on how the game went?
Yeah, I think they played fantastic. I love the turnovers by our defense in the second half. I think that's the one thing that we were missing in that first half. So really happy to see that. And yeah, you got some younger guys out there. We saw that late touchdown that we probably didn't want to see, but it is what it is. I'm okay with that, but not okay so much with the 2 interceptions. The first one, to be honest with you, I just throwing the ball deep, having some fun. Thought if they picked it off, we'd at least tackle them and we'd have decent field position, but that didn't turn out to be true. The second one, though, the young quarterback, Tanner Mordecai, he's just got to have a better pass, even though we ended up getting the safety for some funny reason. That pressure came right up the gut, and I got a little nervous there, and I just threw it out wide, and it was a nice interception.
Yeah, that's just we were commenting. That's just classic hardcore. Even when you mess up, you still get 2 points in the ball back. So, kind of how the breaks go for you. Wanted to comment on your user defense. You once again put on a clinic. I think they'll someday the Smithsonian will ask for this film on how to play user defense in a 7-year-old game. But 2 interceptions with White. You broke off a coverage route and made another user pick on the sideline. Walk us through kind of how are you able to make these user plays that so many of us just sim defense and you not only play defense, but you end up making user plays all over the place. You got those picks, you're blitzing corners right into runs. What is it that you're seeing that the rest of us aren't?
I don't know the answer to that question. I think I don't know what I see. I think it's just truly instinct. You get a feel for the game. I mean, I don't necessarily know if it's 100% going to be a run or not, or if it's going to be a pass. But once the ball's snapped, I have a pretty good idea. And then I don't really have an explanation for it. I have a feeling. I think I know where the ball is going to go that way. And it doesn't always work. I mean, they beat me pretty bad on that one read option, so it doesn't always pan out in my favor. But for the most part, I have a pretty good idea. And I really don't know. It's weird. It's just a sense. I mean, it's just like, hey, I got a pretty good feeling it's going to be a run. And then as soon as the ball snapped, it's like, yeah, this is probably going to be a run. But I mean, that one interception on the screen, like I knew that was going to be a screen the whole way. And so that one was pretty easy for me. But I really don't know how to explain it. And if I could, I would. But no, I just I don't know. Maybe it's just luck. I'm not sure.
All right, here's the first question I've got for you. Did you even know Bob Stoops' son was on your?
I did. He'd been in there before. It's a twins, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's your team.
My Oklahoma knowledge ends with sometimes their wagon tips over. Outside of that, I don't care that much.
I think there's twins, but regardless, he could have had a second. He could have had I guess one quit. So thanks for that, Tisket. He could have had 2 touchdowns if he would have gone up strong and caught that ball. But
he volleyball spiked that one. He jumped up high and just volleyball spiked it. He thought he was playing a different sport.
And we did a really good job with that. This game specifically, they were bringing that middle linebacker all day long. And we did a really good job of making them pay for when they brought the linebacker. So I was really happy with that. I mean, honestly, all game long, I know this wasn't probably my best game as far as margin of victory, but this was one of the more games I'm happy with just because we took advantage of them defensively. And they were a pretty solid team defensively. And then we obviously played really well defensively as well. But, yeah, I think our offense just kind of nitpicked at different things whenever they weren't in the right position or whenever they were going to blitz. So I was happy with that, even if wide receivers dropped the ball.
Yeah, that leads me into that. We kind of talked about that. Set up your laptop on your bed and rewatch this VOD here in a minute. And we've got some things in there that we're excited for you to hear, of course. But
all good things. All good
things, except for. But talk about, you seem to spread the ball around than you usually would have. Seemed like a lot more people got involved. You probably had 10 different receivers catch balls. Talk about that, getting all of these guys involved. It seemed like that was more of a theme tonight than anything else.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the fact that I hadn't played the game for about a week. And I just wanted to do all the different plays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the dot. So congratulations, JDR. Yes, 10 different people caught the ball. Yeah, when you don't play the game for a week or so, you're like, oh man, this jet sweep sounds fun. Let's do it. It was really cool to see 2 wide receivers get in the end zone as well on the ground. But I don't really have a reason or rhyme to do it. I don't. Look, I mean, I'm going to be frank with you. I think I could probably put up stupid numbers with Rattler if I wanted to, but to me, it's just as much fun spreading the ball out, getting running with the wide receiver, running a shovel pass, doing different things. I think that is more entertaining and more fun for my personal stream than just, still in gaming it or whatever you have it.
Yeah, I think we agree as well. I mean, this game was really never in question, even though it was a 3-3, another classic hardcore slow start. But you did lose the coin toss again. I heard you made comment on that. So lost the coin toss, and really a tie in the first quarter is a loss. So a couple things to work on again this week. How do we get this coin toss thing turned around?
I think there was a little bit of lag at the beginning. Like, ever an experience when there's a little bit of a glitch? Whenever there's a little bit of a glitch at the beginning where it kind of flips on its own before it starts, I've never gotten it. So I don't know if it's a false start by the official. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, they're kind of
blaming the officials on your coin toss. Okay.
Somebody else's fault.
Classic hardcore.
Definitely not my fault. No, look, the slow starts, we felt them out a little bit. I was a little, I was respecting their defense, especially their pass defense in that first two drives, I'd say, before I kind of, figure out what they wanted to do defensively. But, that's how I do things. I kind of feel people out for a little bit before I kind of decide on how I want to attack them. I was a little pissed they made that 50-something-yard field goal. But, honestly, we should have – that first play, they came out with that triple option. I was like, we might have ourselves a little bit of a fun game here. But they didn't really go back to that at any point. But no, that's how we roll. First quarter, we feel each other out a little bit, and then we put that behind us for the rest of the game.
Coach, wanted to get your opinion on their wide receiver Atkinson. He had a monster game, almost 200 yards on the ground. Seemed like you were in position, but he was making a lot of plays still. Any thoughts on that player?
Yeah, he had that one really long touchdown with our backups in. So, I mean, whatever. But the one he had, I think it was supposed to be a bubble screen or a fake bubble screen. I don't really know. But we had pressure on the quarterback, and our our corner was in position. And he just didn't go up for it. And he caught it, and he ran for a little bit. So that one ended up getting the interception eventually anyway. But that was a little bit frustrating. But no, he's good. He's 6'3" for Pete's sake. I mean, it's hard to stop him. So,
sure.
Congratulations to him. But hell, we'll let him have 500 yards if that means we get the win.
Coach, last thing I had, and then I'll turn it over to John. Tuesday night game. It's a first for us. It's kind of the Thursday night game of the traditional week. Any thoughts on how this went, and do you think it's something we should try to do going forward?
I enjoyed it personally from the streaming perspective, especially since I have some family coming in this weekend, so it worked out well for me. I don't know. I haven't had the stream up the entire time, so I haven't really seen your numbers, but from what I see right now, it looks like they're a little bit lower than usual. So I don't know if that's something we care about moving forward, but I mean, I like it. I mean, anytime we have a chance to have football earlier on in the week, football kind of gets me through the week. So whenever we have football, it means we're getting ourselves through the week to the weekend. So I'm all for it, but I don't know. It's going to be up to you guys and also obviously the G12 fans. But I will admit, it is a little weird to have the game before the Wednesday night show because I fully expect you guys just to talk about me for the next 45 minutes tomorrow night.
Yeah, probably not. John, you got any other questions?
Yeah, my wife's vacuuming, so deal with
Mine just came and asked me when I'm going to bed, so we probably ought to wrap it up.
Yeah. No, man, I just would say, obviously, the most boring game on Tuesday, so you're welcome. That's why. And then, no, man, typical stuff out of you, just a great game. Congratulations to you. And we definitely not talk 45 minutes about seconds, tops.
You know what? You cut out completely, but I didn't hear a word you just said.
All I heard you say is we're not going to be able to cover 5 minutes on this boring game. It's going to be a couple comments about you losing the coin toss and the interceptions, and then we'll move on probably.
At least shout out that safety because that was the funniest friggin' thing I've seen.
I said that's a total bitch thing. Reality.
That was beautiful.
Okay, right.
So, hey
That was
guys, I
hilarious.
appreciate it so much. I'll let you go vacuum. I'll let Pirate get to bed before he gets in trouble. I think I'm in trouble too because I told her it was only going to take to about 9:30. So we'll walk down the stairs with a little bit of a shame on our heart and a little bit on our face.
You got the win. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
I have a feeling that all of a sudden that's going to become a lot less important in about 5 minutes.
Good luck.
Probably.
You guys
Have a good night.
Cheers.
All right.
See ya. Well, John, another week, another hardcore blowout. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, just typical stuff. Love to see him.
Good night.
God, I just no complaints from fun. Just typical stuff from him. It's always. I don't know if you can hear him.
You're cutting out a lot there.
It's probably the vacuum. Just
the vacuuming. Okay, no problem.
It's my wife.
Yeah, no, same hardcore. I mean, more great user defense. Scored any way he wanted. Very unlikely he'll face another strong challenge all the way through to the national championship game. So, hopefully he can stay sharp. I like that he does keep mixing stuff up. We're getting ready to raid, and we'll wrap this up, and we'll see you guys later.
Balanced offense and not go maybe too pass heavy. We've kind of seen him do that, and see how well it goes for him. I mean, for heaven's sakes, he's winning with Tennessee right now. I think at one of his dynasties, so clearly he's good enough to win with Alabama, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And
so it looks like he's getting geared up.
Yeah, let me.
If we can.
We'll pull his thing up. It looks like I'm probably a little bit behind, I think, and it keeps buffering. So.
Yeah, so we're trying to get all that figured out. We can cross the old fingers that we can get a spoof stream tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Are you on this clip? Oh shoot! I don't know why I'm getting so much buffering. I even pulled up another game and it was going just fine.
Yeah.
I'm having just an issue with his connection.
But just the stream, I don't know. Yeah. Well, hopefully that won't continue and we'll be able to play good. Yeah, it's just going to keep buffering here. So hopefully we can get this figured out, guys, and get it going here with Rocky Top and this Fiesta Bowl. Back in 2014, sponsored by Tostitos, but now has changed to the PlayStation Fiesta Bowls. Chuck and I were kind of talking about that before we went on air. What is it now? Who sponsors it? That changes so much over time. So if you guys didn't catch it this week, there were some great bowl games. Yofi last night really was able to take care of E-Migs and USC. That was a great win for Notre Dame to finish up the season, who arguably was maybe the second best potentially team this year. He did get a shot maybe at that rematch, that one loss coming to Hardcore and Oklahoma. So hopefully that we're still having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out a stream, so see if it's just us. I'm gonna pull up something else and see if it's Rocky's stream or if it's our stream. It might just be Rocky's stream.
Yeah, I'm pulling because
Let me pull it up and see. Let me see from my side if I'm having trouble. Chuck. Yeah, it's not buffering too much from my phone.
I don't know what in the world is going on. Unless my internet's taking a crap on me today.
That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Just be
Yeah.
par for the course.
Because it's just buffering with him, man.
What's up?
All right, well.
Well, maybe we're starting to get a little bit smoother here.
Let's see if the G12's having a problem
Let's
getting
go
much
ahead and pop this full screen.
So it looks like we're ready for the kickoff, and maybe we're just going to have some buffering issues here, guys. I hope that's not the case, but we will play through it.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, yeah, if I'm ahead on my phone, that's never a great sign. So
you're ahead on the phone.
Yeah. Because he's getting ready to kick off now.
Dude, like my computer.
So as this is kind of buffering through, guys, he's already had a kickoff, and it looks like it was Baylor who received here, and it's going to be a kickoff, and this will be a touchback, just so you guys know, as it's going to probably continue to buffer, and hopefully this will get resolved. If not, we'll think outside the box here. Chuck is a man of the people. I'm sure we can get it figured out.
I'm working on it. I'm sorry,
And
guys.
no, you're good. You're good, man. We'll get it figured out. So Baylor's going to start out here with the spread, no back. And that actually is going to end up being a completion, as I saw just a second ago, and it's going to be a first down for Baylor right off the crack with a scramble. And so a good play call early for Baylor. And they're going to go hurry up here, and we'll see how Rocky handles this. Now, Chuck, after playing this Baylor team, we kind of saw how they worked. They ran that spread, hurry-up offense, and Rocky's able to attack it with a blitz and get a sack here and make it 2nd and 18. So we have had the luxury for you guys who caught that West Virginia-Baylor game of seeing this Baylor team in action. It was a big upset for Chuck, an important victory to get him to in a bowl game, really. So you can see here they're a top 10 team. We have a top 10 matchup in this Fiesta Bowl, and early on it's a pretty good start here as he's got on the 2nd and long. It looks like they're going to go zone read, and that's going to get shut down. No gain to make it 3rd and 18. And then once again, it's going to be Baylor on the hurry up. And that was actually, as we catch up now, he actually got a pick. So Bama did get an interception on that.
Okay.
It was an out route to the end. It looks like we're caught up now. Yeah. 1st and 10. I think you're a little bit ahead of me now. So that's good because I'm on my phone. So, yeah, absolutely. We're good. So there you go, Chuck. Just changed the setting a little bit there and got us home. First pass is going to be incomplete. And, yeah, so, Chuck, now that you can concentrate on the game and calling this thing instead of trying to get this thing going, as you're kind of doing both producing and calling the game, which I know is not an easy task. And then you stepped up for me last week and called a game. What do you remember from playing this Baylor team earlier in the season?
Their defense was pretty good. They were aggressive, which, I mean, I didn't really have a high-powered offense, but they slowed me down and made me work for every yard that I got. I didn't do a lot of rolling, so I stand in the pocket more, and now we're buffering again. Shoot.
Such is life as we in the G12. Sometimes this is a tough task. So, yeah, I remember their defense being extremely good, and that shows by their ninth in the country record. Right here, we see Rocky goes 3 and out as it's an incomplete pass. As I know you guys are seeing a buffer, but here it is, and that's just going to get broken up by Baylor, almost a pick, as he tried to just kick it, or excuse me, pass it deep, and going to be forced into a punt. So, not exactly the offensive start that you would want to see but was able to get that turnover early, and we'll see if he can pin them deep here inside the 20.
Yeah, and I think that was him just being too aggressive, because if he had done his reads, I'm not saying correctly, if he'd done them differently, he would have seen A open right across the middle.
Yeah, he kind of locked onto that deep pass with B, and maybe forced one there with the safety coverage over the top, and does get him right back around the 20-yard line, about the 24. It's going to be a sweep and just nowhere to go. So good defense with Rocky. We saw that against D's. His defense, much like hardcore, his strength is the defense, right? It was difficult for to D's, especially in the second half, to really get anything going. And so Rocky Top's definitely, I would say, his strength is definitely the defense. And maybe struggles a little bit on offense at time. We've seen him struggle in the red zone, very similar to Emigs does against Yofi. That was his problem last night with that loss. And that was kind of Rocky's problem against Auburn. If he was successful in the red zone, he would have come up with a win there. But too many times he came up empty-handed. Was able to correct that with D's and get the win. And just an early throwaway. That was a quick throwaway there by Baylor.
Yeah, and I mean, his defense is playing tough, and I mean, that's what I had to do. I had to play a lot of defense and just take advantage of what I got. So he just got to settle in and just play his game, and I think he's going to do all right.
Yeah, 100%. And here we see them set back, and yeah, great sack there for Alabama. It's going to make it 4th and 19 and force them into a punt inside their 20-yard line. So this could set up good here with a decent return. You're going to have great field position.
Yeah, and let's see if he changes his offensive play calling up. I think more short passes rather than trying to be super aggressive, you know. Like I run a lot of that, the small slants and screens, and I mean, it works for me.
I don't know if you guys can hear that, but one of my kids is up in the background, so there'll probably be some noise. But great return by Waddle, and inside 35, so he set himself up really nicely here. And I would like to see maybe now let's get Najee Harris involved here with some runs and maybe settle down, like you said, not being so aggressive. But I do notice he's not got Mac Jones in, so he is going with Young in the game, which I didn't really even pick up in that first drive.
Yeah.
And was still airing it out. So maybe he switched it up. I didn't notice in between the buffering and stuff.
Maybe he didn't notice because he hasn't touched this team in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think it was defaulted to from the previous person to Dylan Young.
Right, yeah. If he hasn't set his... And I think he did play with Young previously and then switched it out to Mac Jones, if memory serves me correctly. So I doubt he set the depth chart to do Mac Jones. And, he tried to hit that, the running back, and just wasn't there. It was a man coverage and a big pick for Baylor. And right now we got a real defensive battle. Both, he's going to go back and look at it. And that was just oh, yeah, there he goes. He now, like you said, he's kind of realized it. What am I doing with Young in the game? That's why I can't throw the ball. So maybe a good sub there. It took a couple of sessions maybe to realize it, but better late than never.
Definitely. And, I mean, he's still not in trouble right now because Baylor got the ball first. So, I mean, essentially this is just restarting the quarter. So
restarting the quarter, but it is a big pass play to Fleeks, and it's a 33-yard reception down to about the 15-yard line. And once again, they get in this hurry up and are off to the races for sure.
Oh, yeah. But what I noticed is it is a lot easier once you get down into this red zone to kind of tighten it up and at least hold them to a field goal since they're already within scoring range.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, as we've seen over and over again, red zone's super important. Can swing a game here if you can tighten up and hold teams to field goals makes it a lot easier on yourself as opposed to giving up those touchdowns and either allowing teams to stay in it or really take it, put you in a hole that you're not able to dig out of.
Oh, okay. I got you, Mix. He says that the rosters are incorrect. Oh, and he just missed that by using the defender. If Pirate was here.
Yeah, that's true. This is an early, for sure, an early roster that was made. So everybody, it's just really a guesswork whether or not it was going to be Mac Jones or Bryce Young or who was a better quarterback. For sure. So what else did he say? Bryce Young is only 3 points worse and faster. Well, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So based on game dynamics,
you're right. And Bert's out there saying that Nebraska should have been 99s. Yeah, obviously after week 1, I think you got that dead right, Bert. I mean, you really got the shaft there with that Nebraska roster. It's a real shame.
Hey, I got the shaft with that West Virginia roster too.
Man, I gotta put that on you. I don't know what you're doing picking West Virginia in the Big, the Big 12. I don't. Though you're a loyal guy, which I appreciate. So you like West Virginia in the Big 12, but you're a brave man. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Hey, I'm stepping into Mizzou next year, so.
Yeah, that's right. That's once again, you're a brave man. You're a loyal man.
The middle of the road.
And that's what we like about you, Chuck. Yeah. I mean, hey, listen. If they can, if they update these rosters to match that offense, you might be okay. They've not looked terrible. I mean, if they could take back that game against Tennessee, their record would be sitting pretty right now. So.
Oh yeah, and all the rest of the games are winnable. So, other than Georgia, but.
Well, yeah.
And I mean. Here we go. He's mixing it up with some nice short slant passes and running the ball with Najee Harris, and it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can kind of see he's so much more comfortable with Mac Jones throwing the ball there already with a completion. And you hate to give up that touchdown after that turnover, but, like I said, the game's still manageable. It's just a reset. And there's a fumble. So 2 early turnovers here by Rocky Top, and that is not what you want to happen. Housed, and you're in a hole early. So, like we mentioned, turnovers a little bit of a problem against Auburn, and the red zone was a problem. So here we see early, just takes the shot, the big hit. Najee Harris loses it, and now we're in a 14-0 hole. So he continues to struggle with the CPU. It's He's going to go with Sanders here. He it fits his game more, I think, to play Sanders, right? And we talked about that with D's. He's more comfortable with more stretch plays, bouncing it outside, which I think Sanders is a little bit faster, and he's a little bit more comfortable with that. He's got a little more shake than Najee. Najee's more downhill, right up the gut, and he doesn't seem to be comfortable. I don't know, or it's not in his play call.
There we go.
As we skip ahead a little bit there, a great return, and it's going to be 1st and 10. So he sets himself up good here to maybe get a quick score and get right back in this thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way he's out, and even then, if Baylor takes a 7-point lead into the half, you get the ball back after that. So.
Yeah, exactly. So really no reason to panic here. I mean, you can't be in panic mode. Plenty of time. We skip ahead a little bit more as it's a wide open pass to Waddle over the middle. We're kind of all over the place. Sorry, guys. But he even had mentioned in his stream that it was a little bit laggy. So I'm not 100% sure if it's all on us or a little bit on Rocky as well. Because we were going pretty good there for a while. So
yeah, we're still glitching. Sanders gets a 3-yard rush.
Still glitching around. So it's going to be 2nd and 7 as we kind of jump ahead, jump around. It's going to be a pass of Waddle. Waddle with speed. He's going to score a touchdown. I just saw it on my phone. So, sorry, guys. But, yeah, as you can see there, Waddle's got all that space. He definitely turns that into a touchdown. And we'll go no screen, and I'll just kind of try to give you a play-by-play here verbally as I watch Rocky stream. So it's going to make it 14-7 with 1:17 left to go. As we try to get back on track here, and hopefully we can get this thing figured out.
Yeah, hopefully. We're working on her.
And it's going to be a kickoff and a touchback for Baylor, so no return. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for Baylor.
Come on, man.
And they are just going to he's going to get gashed for a 16-yard run for Baylor off the left side. Still running out of that shotgun. And hopefully we'll be about on the same pace as where we're at now. Yeah, so that's right after the run here, and it's going to be 1st and 10.
And we're buffering it.
Yeah, Baylor's going to step back, and it's going to be another dump-off pass to Lovett for a 13-yard reception. And handoff right up the middle. It's going to get stopped for a 3-yard gain. So maybe we're back on here, Chuck. We'll see. Prayers in the chat, right? Prayers in the chat here. Fingers crossed. Thoughts. Yeah, Chuck's getting frustrated.
Well,
it's all good.
I feel like it's my internet.
Yeah.
Because they've been working.
He was worried about it being laggy, but I'm not having too much problems on my phone, so if we keep having trouble by halftime, we might just, we can always send everybody over to Rocky's stream. No biggie. I know we like to have the commentating, but we guys don't want you guys to miss anything. So it's going to be the option pay to the left, and man, all the room in the world. And it's going to get inside the 10. And it's going to be 1st and goal for Baylor now. As they will continue to run this hurry up. And 24 seconds left here in the first quarter. Still going to be lined up in the shotgun. As you can see, the hurry up. And 2 backs, and it's going to be actually just a draw play right up the gut to Ebner, and we crashed out again. So Ebner was with no gain, not a little bit of loss, and it's going to be the end of the first. So maybe we have some time to catch up here.
Yeah.
And we'll give it one more shot, Chuck, for another quarter and see how we do. If the good thing is we got streamers, so we can always just push it over to to Rocky and. If we need to. So if you guys are still hanging with us, it's going to be 1st and goal as we start the second. It's going to be a play action pass, and there's going to be a scramble into the 5 to about the 2-yard line. And it'll be 3rd and goal for Baylor for a 4-yard rush for Charlie Brewer. He's already got 7 runs on the night, only 9 yards, and less than a yard a carry for him, and they're going to hurry up, line up. They're going to do a pitch play. Wright's going to be there, but misses the tackle. It's going to be a touchdown for Baylor, and there you can already see we're on the extra point. So it's a 21-7 lead for the Baylor Bears here early in the second quarter. So once again, still plenty of time for Rocky. No reason to panic. I know he's probably getting a little frustrated with the turnovers. We'll see now. As you recall, he's taken nice spin with Waddle. As you can see, the speed. Can he turn it on? Good stop. So a great return, and you can see there the skills by Rocky Top. Just a couple of mistakes, maybe not having in the guys that he wanted with Mac Jones on the bench, and now he's going to bring in Sanders and bench the Heisman-winning Najee Harris after that fumble. So let's see if he feels a little bit more comfortable with Sanders running the ball here.
Yeah. Oh, tries to make a move, just rolls to the wrong side.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 2-yard gain That's Trey Sanders' second rush. He's only got 5 yards. So, be 2nd and 8, close to right on the 50-yard line here. It's going to dump it off. And it's going to be a 6-yard reception to Mechie, and it's going to be 3rd and 2 for Alabama here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's good that he's not trying to, because I know a lot of people when they get down like this, they try to make things happen, and they get in that panic mode, and they just start slinging it all over the field. So it's good that he's staying with his game plan.
Not trying to get it all in one play, which I think is super important. Sanders right up the middle is going to be a 1st and 10. But now he's starting to run up the middle with Sanders where he wasn't doing that with. So we'll see. Trust Sanders a little bit more. And it's going to be 1st and 10 here for Alabama as they now cross into Baylor territory with 5:25 left here in the second quarter.
Nice reception by Devontae Smith right there.
Yeah, definitely got that foot down just in time with that corner route. Good tight throw by Mac Jones. Put it right on him, who's now come in and is 5 for 5 with a touchdown. So you can already see the difference with the confidence throwing the ball once Mac Jones enters the game.
Yeah. And I mean, defensively, it still is looking good for him because he hasn't really struggled much. Because Baylor's had a couple of short fields, so.
Yeah, I mean, they housed 1 fumble for a touchdown, so there's 7 points. He had the interception, which gave him good field position. And then maybe that last drive there was maybe the one where he couldn't get the stop. And really right after that